His name is...
It's John Monday. It is Tuesday, 27th of May, and game number 27 is finished, and it is Max Payne. Future John here, Max Payne 3. Not Max Payne 1, Max Payne 3. How can I forget 3? Anyway, back to myself. On the PC. So, I absolutely love the Max Payne series. Like, for me, playing the first two games were part of the reason why I love PC gaming so much. I mean, okay, so fun story. My first time playing Max Payne was actually my first semester at uni. One of the other guys in the halls that I lived in had it on his PS2, so I was playing through that. But then after like a month, he dropped out of uni, so I was part way through playing Max Payne. I'm like, oh, okay. Then several years later, thanks to Steam, I picked it up and finally finished it, and it was great. But like, I hold like that memory to me because of we chatted on Facebook for a while afterwards, but I haven't spoken to him in like years. But it was great to like find a new game series, and because I didn't own a PS2, I played my base PS2 before in sixth form, but he didn't own that game. Anyway, so for me, absolutely loved playing Max Payne 1 and 2, and I've owned 3 for years, but then round to it. A friend of mine started playing it, and I watched him play it, and yeah, he wasn't feeling it, and I wasn't really liking the levels we were seeing. So this game is made by Rockstar rather than Remedy, and it has the Rockstar quality. It is an expertly made game. You cannot argue that. But does it feel like a Max Payne game is the question I keep asking myself. And I think the latter half of the game definitely does feel more like a Max Payne game. Because the problem is with the first half of the game, it's trying to set up the story. But when the first two games are all like kind of like dingy crime kind of life, the first half of the game is dealing with like your private security. So you're like these like expensive kind of like parties and nightclubs, and even like a football club. And you're like, this doesn't really feel like kind of a Max Payne setting, really. But then once he shaves his head, that's when it kind of really like, oh, okay, yeah. You kind of get those kind of like settings that feel like more like a Max Payne game. So yeah, I did enjoy it. Playing on PC, I did keyboard and mouse. I kind of definitely recommend that. I mean, I know it came out on console as well, but believe me, like playing on normal, if I could just like immediately like get the mouse to where like the reticle to where I wanted to do the shots, like I don't know how using a controller, like how well you would survive really. But anyway, obviously people do. Obviously people do. But for me, I would have struggled if I couldn't just go click. Definitely worth playing. You can also pick up pretty cheap now. Remedy are making a remaster of the first game, apparently maybe two as well. But so not sure when I'd pick those up. I mean, I'll wait to see how well received they are first, see if they can keep that magic. But yeah, but Max Payne 3, if you enjoy the first two games, definitely give it a try, but you have to stick it out, I think, for a bit. Don't give up, too soon, because play through to hit like chapter. Well, where he goes bold, and then play through that level and see what you think after that. So, anyway. It is Monday, June 2nd, and game number 28 is finished, and it is Discreet Orange on the Game Boy Advance. So, this is a game you probably haven't heard of before. It's another one of the Incubate. Did I pronounce that correctly? Uh, Homebrew aftermarket games. So I've been doing QA testing on it. So for those who don't know, we don't get paid for it, but we get to play the game and then get a final ROM for free for doing it. So which is pretty cool. You don't get a discount if you buy the game, the physical game. You get the digital for free. But so what is Discreet Orange? It's You play as anthropomorphic orange that just needs to get from left to right, and it's a puzzle game. But it's a very well made puzzle game. The colors are absolutely gorgeous, some great music, and puzzles. There's kind of like 3 levels to it. Okay, there's 20 levels overall, but there's 3 tiers to it. The first is just getting through each of the 20 levels. That's the bare minimum. Then the second is that in each level there is a chocolate bar, 5 in each level. And then the third tier is a ranking system. So how quickly can you get through? Sorry, not how quickly, but how few moves can you get through each level? And then as you play through, there's a percentage bar that you see the bottom left of the home screen. So yeah, as I get through, I got like the majority. So first half of the game, I pretty much got all the chocolate bars. Then after that, things got a bit more difficult, and I kind of gave up on it. But I got to the very end, got the credits, even found a bug that has now apparently been removed for the final release. So that's always quite cool to when you find these things and can report them. But I suppose probably talk about the gameplay a bit more. So you can only move left, right, and jump. But it's not like, oh, you just run along left or right. No, it's there are, how to describe it, like different uh, positions. So when you move, you are pretty much like, if you imagine some squares in a row, and when you move, you are pretty much like leapfrogging from one square to another. So you've got 3 squares. You're in the first one. You move to the right. You are bypassing that middle square to get to the one on the right. Fine, you can just keep moving along like that. But the puzzles involve you having to use obstacles to kind of like alter your position, so you actually would end up in that middle block. And then also then you have height involved as well, and there'll even be like enemies that you can't attack them. You just have to use them to help move around or just avoid them. So, but yeah, it's honestly, if you enjoy puzzle games, I think you'll really enjoy this. It's a simple concept, but like taken to its extreme. So, Discrete Orange, I don't know when it's gonna get released, but definitely check it out. Even if you just check out the digital copy. It is Tuesday, the 10th of June, but 2 days ago, so on Sunday the 8th, I beat game number 29, and that is Diffused on the Game Boy Color. So this is another aftermarket incubate um, homebrew release. So one that I've done QA testing for. We don't normally tend to have two literally like so close together. It's normally they're kind of spaced out, but yeah. So in this one, so the previous one was for the Game Boy Advance. This is for the Game Boy Color, and this one is not necessarily. It's more an action game, but I suppose there's a slight kind of puzzle element to it. So you play as a robot, and you hang out with your friends, and then suddenly bombs start raining from the sky, and then you get to play. So the idea of the game is that you get a square map, which is then like crisscrossed into like smaller squares, and then you can see where bombs are going to drop, and then when they drop, they have a countdown timer. And then if you get onto the square with the bomb before it explodes, then you pick it up and defuse it. So, but then if it goes off and you're in the blast radius, so in other words, say if there's a bomb 2 squares away, but there's another bomb before that that's going to chain react, and then you get caught in its blast radius. So that's the kind of thing you have to keep an eye for. So you might be like, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm outside of it," but next thing you know, boom, because of other bombs that were going to be triggered as well. So it's not when I say it has a countdown timer, it's done by movement, not by literal time. So in other words, if you just leave your character standing still, all the bombs keep the same timer, and then when you move to another square, that's when they all count down by 1. So you do have time to think about it if you want to. I didn't spend that long thinking. I kind of just like glance times and then move around. So I did at times die a bunch. There's no game over. You just keep retrying and retrying for as long as you want. And then there are, I think it was five, like I'll say five level areas, and each one has four stages to it. With the fourth one being like, okay, say not really say a boss. So for the first four, you're rescuing. There's a cage with one of your friends. You open the cage, and next thing you know, you're doing the same thing, but now you have someone training you, which adds like an extra level of complexity because when dealing with the blast radiuses, you have now 10 count the step you were just in. So several times with me, even I would be fine, my friend would then get caught in the blast and I had to retry the level. Then the very last stage of the last level is then an actual like boss. I say boss fight, you don't attack, you just kind of have to stay alive until they sort themselves out. So, but yeah, so I don't know when it's going to get released, but I think it's definitely worth giving a try, even if it's just digitally. I didn't try, but it also has a randomizer mode as well, so you can pick either story mode or randomizer. And if you just want to try random levels or stages, it also, if you beat the game, has the ability to print like a picture. So uh, I did feedback to like the devs that it wasn't obvious. So when I got everything set up, put batteries in my Game Boy printer, got the link cable in, and pressed A, and then next thing I know, it kicks me back to the start screen, and I'm like, what the heck? But because I was, because I'm me, I was filming this to show the devs. I'm like, oh yeah, so because it does say at the bottom, print, but there's like a little icon to the left of print, which is the start or the select button icon. I didn't even twig that was what that was trying to be because I said, "Oh, could you do like say like press start to print?" And I'm like, "Oh, we already have that." Oh, that's what that icon is. I mean, and other people always, when other came forward saying that they had the same confusion as well, but I don't think they're planning to change that because you can't access that either from the once you've been in the game. Like, there's no save mode in this. There is no save whatsoever. It's you have to complete the game in one go, in one run, which didn't take too long to be honest. But like I went to the so within the options you can see the credits because the print screen came after the credits originally when you beat the game. So I thought, oh, maybe it'll be there because I at least want to test it because I have very little reason to use my Game Boy printer anymore. The last time was because of Zephyr's Pass, another Incubate, aftermarket release that had a print option as well. So it'd be cool to try it, but no, when you do the credits from the option screen, you don't get the option to do that print, sadly. So you'd have to complete the game again. Like I say, not arduous. It's just once you've beaten it once, unless if you like the gameplay loop, which wasn't bad, I enjoyed it, but I've got enough backlog. Anyway, diffuse. That's not DE fuse. That is D like asterisk fuse. And I think it's with a Z rather than an S because America. Anyway, cool. So yeah. It is still Tuesday, June 10th, and game number 30 is now beaten, and it is BC Racers on the Mega CD. So, hopefully, or better have, before this goes out, we uh, cover this game on the Mega CD Appreciation Society podcast. I hope that sentence made sense. Sorry, yeah. So the reason why I played this game was it was the next game we picked to do for episode 4 of the Mega CD Appreciation Society show. So when hopefully that should have gone out long before this did. So yeah, BC Racers. So the same kind of series as the Chuck Rock games, because Chuck Rock and his son actually feature in the game as one of the pair of drivers you can pick. So I'll be honest, this game really surprised me. I went into this game expecting to play a couple of times and then kind of like just, be a downer about it. Okay, off the bat, it's not going to beat Mario Kart. But if you go in and appreciate what the game actually does, there's a really solid kart racer here. Okay, yeah, it does not have time trial, and there's no form of time, it doesn't have like a timer or anything like, so you can't see what your lap times are. And also, the only co-op this game has, sorry, the only multiplayer this game has is a co-op feature where the two of you both control the same character, but one of you drives and the other one is doing the punching. So, I mean, that's kind of cool, but really you would expect split screen multiplayer from a game like this. So I think that's really the two things that hold it back from being a brilliant game and also a contender to try and beat Mario Kart. But because it hasn't got that, apparently the 32x port does have split screen. I need to give that a try actually before we record the episode of the Mega CD Appreciation Society show. Um, but also, like the 32x port has some other oddities. Like it only supports a 3-button pad because I say if you're gonna play this game, definitely have a 6-button pad. Because what you could do is this game is kind of like Mario Kart by Road Rash because the fact that you punch the other drivers. So if you have a 6-button pad, then you can so you have ABC, X, Y, Z. So A, B. So is it B is the drive, C is the punch to your right, and A is punch to your left. Unless if C is the drive or accelerate, and then B punches to your right and A punches to your left. And then Y and X and Z control your camera, and then to like zoom out and stuff. And then Y is to use your like the dash, like it shows N, but it's just speed up, because every time you complete a lap, you get one. Whereas if you have a 3-button pad, you're a lot more limited. You can only punch in one direction. That's it, and you have to pause to like zoom out. So and then I think a 6-button pad is a really way to go. So it's just baffling that they didn't support it on the 32x version. Well, at least according to the websites I read, it doesn't support it. So when I try it out, I'll see if it does or not. And it's just a error on the website. Anyway, back to the Mega CD port. Yeah, so when you start the game, there are 4 difficulties, but only 2 are unlocked. So you have to defeat. Easy and all, you have to beat normal to get the password to unlock hard, and then beat hard to unlock rock hard. And then when you beat rock hard, that's when you get the credit screen, which is what my screenshots show. So I played through all 4 difficulties, and definitely you should play through them. The reason being is that each difficulty has 8 environments, so 8 levels as such. They're all the same in the sense of the 8 replicate through each difficulty. Like you have a city, you have a jungle, you have an ice area, stuff like that. But for each difficulty, the course map as such actually changes. When you play on easy, they're very basic, very bare bone, very short. But as you work your way through, they get bigger and bigger. They add in shortcuts and more stage hazards, but also like more to the stage themselves, just from a visual point of view. Like the city one, they actually have like dinosaurs that are parked and like flats and things like that. Whereas on the easy mode, it's just like some buildings, some houses and things. Unless I just wasn't noticing it, but it seems like the courses or the environments were just more fleshed out. So really, you need to play through all of them. But if you struggle with the enemy AI difficulty, if you go to the options menu, you have the choice of changing to make it easier or harder. So if you want to play through the different difficulties, but you find the enemies like too easy, too hard, raise lower the difficulty of that separately to the difficulty you're playing for the courses. And if you don't like the fact that you have to complete so many laps, you can change that as well in the options. So they've given you a lot of ways you can customize the game. But again, the fact that you don't have proper split screen multiplayer or the ability to do like time trials, it just holds this game back. But otherwise, this is a brilliant kart racer. And just the fact that if you do you have health, and if you knock out your opponents because you hit them, you see their health bar and it keeps going down, and if you completely knock them out, you get a bonus point. So you can actually because when you finish the race, you get a score, get points, but you'll have more for every person you've knocked out. My highest total so far is knocking out 3 people on one of the courses. That's where having the more labs can actually be a benefit because you have more time to punch the people out. Yeah, so it's for a game that I expected to really dislike, it's surprisingly good. Yeah, honestly, I would highly recommend it. Just go in like with that expectation. So yeah, BC Racers. We probably talked about it to death on the podcast, but yeah. It is Monday, 23rd of June, but on Saturday, the 21st of June, I beat game number 31, and that is Escape 2042 on the Game Boy. So this is another homebrew Game Boy game. Not one I was doing QA for, but one that I picked up from Itch. And if you buy the game, then you can actually get several different ports that were made. So I picked the Game Boy, but also it was released for the Game Boy Advance, the Mega Drive, PC, well, Windows/Linux, Atari ST, and the Dreamcast. I think that's all of them. So one price gets you the ROMs for all the various versions. The game is a platformer/puzzle game. You are trying to escape from a prison facility in the year 2042, and you do that by avoiding security cameras and security drones. And while you have to, the puzzle element is that there are certain security consoles around, and you have to go on and do like a Simon Says kind of like repeat the up, down, left, right card puzzle, and then you will change something in the room you're in. Sometimes it's to your advantage, but as you go through the game, there'll be ones that are actually disadvantaged, so you have to learn which ones you should activate and which ones you shouldn't. The game actually uses a password system, which is just you use the B and A button. Depending on which combinations will put you into different parts of the game. It's not very long. You could beat it probably in half an hour. I'm trying to figure out how long it took me. Half an hour to an hour. I actually started playing this because I record some homebrew Game Boy videos, so this might come out before or after that one goes up. So yeah, I started playing that, and I got to the second key card, which gives you the second password, and then decided to carry it on after that. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. I can't remember how much it is, if it's name your price or if it's like £5 or something, but if I remember, I'll leave a link in the description. Otherwise, there will definitely be a link in my video covering that game. Yeah. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of July, and last night, on Monday, the 21st of July, game 34 was beaten, and it was Gunstar Heroes on the Mega Drive. So it's a game I never played as a kid. I didn't actually play this until I got picked for the Mega Drive Challenge, which is hosted by the Retro Martin, who also does the Mega CD Appreciation Society. And yeah, it is a fantastic game. It's really, pushes the Mega Drive to its absolute limits. Like the amount of times it starts trying to slow down because of everything going on the screen. But the effects they pull off is mind-boggling. It's absolutely amazing. Because back when it was the Mega Drive Challenge, I mean, I did single player for the challenge itself, but then straight after, I got my friend of mine lives 2 doors up, who I drink whiskey with, to come over and we played together. We got all the way up to the boss rush at the very end of the game, but it was midnight and we kept losing, so he's like, I'm out. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And we were playing that on real hardware, so no chance of just saving our progress and carrying on later. Then later on, we get to when I went away for a week during the Easter holidays, and me and my son's godmother, we played through it on the Mega Drive Mini, and then we managed to get through to the boss rush, but again have to stop again. So I actually made a save state of that position. And then last night, my friend came over again. And I said, "Do you remember when we played this?" "Yes." "Do you remember we got to?" "Yes." "Well, here's a save state." And to be clear, no save states were used to get through that boss rush. We had to do that over and over again until we got the boss patterns down to be able to get through. But finally done, and it's a game definitely worth playing. Like it's been on like probably every Mega Drive collection out there, so you probably own it and don't even realize it potentially. But definitely give it a try. So.